What up? Hello, everybody. Welcome to... I think the music's still too loud. I wish you could do like a gradual kind of fade. I'm sure I could if I was a bit smoother with it, but you know. Welcome to another episode of WIP Wednesday Live. I am customsbymatchu, aka Matt. And you are on episode 31 of these shenanigans. I've actually done more than that because when I was doing my display, I think I did like 6 or 7 episodes of that, so it's probably more like 38 maybe or something, but I digress. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It really helps. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Obviously, it really helps. Before we get into it, last week I had my buddy Collector Express on the show, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, we got to chat about just nerd culture and toys, and it's always fun when you get to learn something from a guest. So he comes with a wealth of knowledge, and last week he suggested these 2 items for water slide decals. So I haven't used them yet. I just came in today. Micro Sol and Micro Set. And I think the idea is one of them softens decals to conform to irregular surfaces, so it looks painted on rather than just like a piece of paper. And the other one softens decals and improves adhesion. I don't know. But anyways, so I'm looking forward to trying these. As I was talking to Jared last week about when he suggested them, I'm going to be doing a figure of myself, and when I do my tattoo sleeve, I'm going to do water slide decals. I'm going to take some high quality pictures. I'm going to flatten it out somehow. I'm not that good with that stuff, but I'll figure that out. And then I'm going to print them onto water slide paper, and I'm going to use these to get them to stick well and to not look like I just glued pieces of paper to an action figure's arm. So big shout out to Collector Express. If you guys aren't following him or you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, he was my guest last week and a wealth of knowledge. So thank you to Collector Express for the suggestion on these 2 items. Very cool. I can't wait to use them. And if you haven't checked that episode out, it was really fun. So check it out on the replay. Yeah, it's good. Before I get to the chat, we'll quickly just talk about what we are doing tonight. So tonight, we're going to do some work on this Gambit, Age of Apocalypse Gambit that I've been working on. I'm getting down to the point where I'm almost done my sculpting. So we're going to probably do the finishing touches on the sculpting tonight, is what the plan is, I think. Contrary to what I did last week, where I was using the black epoxy sculpt, after a couple more nights of using it, I really struggle with it. I can't see it. It's when I'm sculpting detail into it, it's really... let me turn the second cam on here. When I'm using it, it's really hard to see the detail. I don't even know if you guys can see the detail on that. I guess you can a little bit, but it's hard to work. I find it pretty difficult to work with. So I bought some more, a fresh batch of the neutral color, just like the grayish color. So I'm going to work with that tonight. So I'm just going to quickly go through the chat. So that's what we're working on tonight, guys. I don't have a ton to do, but I'm going to be doing the hands. So the Daredevil lower arms that I used have a set of fists and a set of weapon holding hands. What I did was I basically made molds out of this stuff called blue stuff. So I actually left them in the molds. I took one out, but and basically what it is you heat this stuff up and it can basically create like a temporary not really. I mean, you can just undo it, but you just pop it out. And like that basically took like an imprint of the hand. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to utilize these to texture the hands that I've added to this. So there's 3 extra hands that don't have the wrap on it that I need to add wrap to. It's one of them is this Gambit hand. It just seemed too suitable to not use for this. I wanted a splayed out hand for this side, and with the weapon hand, the knife throwing hands from what's that character from the MCU, the Shang-Chi movie? I can't remember his name right now. Death Dealer? I don't know if that's right. That might be wrong. But anyways, he had like a gloved hand, so I had to like shave it all off into nothing so I could sculpt over top of it. So you have to do that. So 3 hands, and then tonight I'm also have to do. I'm pretty happy with the blending I've done on Gambit's face. Still need some sanding, but I think for the most part I'm happy with it. But now I need to do the hair on the back of the head and like the bits of the sideburns. And the last thing I need to do. Oh yes, the boots. I cut these feet shorter, so you can kind of see where I glued. Where I glued them. Let me see if I can just turn this lighting up a bit more. There we go. Yeah, so I cut these and glued these. So I basically just need to like fill in the gap. There's just a small little bit, just so it's for sure on there good. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I want to add some more wrinkles to these boots. Just a couple like really a bit more defined ones. I liked the ones I did on the boot cuff, but I'd like to do something a bit more defined down here. Not all through, but at least a couple. So, and yeah, you guys will be able to see it a bit better because using the gray, it'll really stand out on the black. So it's good. All right, I'm gonna say hi to everybody. There's been a bunch of people have already kind of stopped by and said hello. At least Jordan from Canada this week has the coffee crisp chocolate bars on his display picture, which is great. Very Canadian. Said, Matchu, happy November. Sorry I can't make it. Got to catch up on some sleep. Happy creating and have a great show. Dude, appreciate the fact that you even just stopped by to say that. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate that. You'll be missed. Bearded Bills saying something similar. I'll definitely be catching the replay. Too bad it's midnight in Toronto by the time this live stream starts. LOL. Can't wait to see another awesome episode of WIP Wednesday. Thanks, dude. Appreciate your kind words and support as always. And it's another one, Marvels. I don't know if that's how you properly say it, but we chatted a bit today. She said, I'm sorry I can't stay, but smash that like and sub button, everyone. Thank you very, very much. You have insomnia, clearly. She was like, I like sleeping too much, so I'm not going to be on. And I said, well, if you happen to be, at least pop by and say hello. So thank you for stopping by and saying hello. Marcus E says hola and said, coincidentally, I had to scrap my plan for the eye decals. I just used a Micron pen and it worked just fine. My project is almost done. I just need to seal it. That's sweet, dude. Yeah, I'm hoping this is a game changer. This stuff's a game changer. So it seems like it would make it, for it to have a painted on look, it sounds promising. So I hope it works well. I'd love to see pictures of that too, Marcus, if you don't mind. Nike Boy J says, just got off work and ready for the live. Hey man, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. Marcus says, is there an epoxy clay that cures all white? Yeah, so you can actually buy epoxy sculpt in white. I do find that the colored ones feel different than just the neutral. I'm just going to try to straighten my camera out a little bit here and get a bit more onto the... There we go. Oops, this way, come in. It kind of wants to keep sliding. Yeah, sorry. So I like the neutral stuff the best. I feel like it handles the best. The black and the white are very comparable. They're kind of a bit softer. They're really easy to blend with, I find. But yeah, I've used white several times, and yeah, it's basically epoxy sculpt, just a bit softer. So it cures white. It's nice. Sand's nice and clean too. So Dirk Gutierrez says, what's cracking? Hey man, thank you for coming back. Appreciate you stopping by. Okay, so I'm gonna get into this because yeah, I'm getting ready to fucking do this shit. So oh, I finished this too. I was gonna show it off here first before I post it. So anyone who I've been finished Quicksilver for a bit now, a week or so now. But I hadn't finished the head. So for anybody who has been following, he kind of had no forehead. I kind of brought the like bangs down too far, and he kind of had this like Transylvania thing going on, like a widow's peak, no forehead. His forehead is still small, but I'm calling it good enough. I was too happy with the front hair sculpt to ruin it all. I did take some of it off, but then I had to resculpt the front. So pretty happy with how it looks. I think it turned out pretty good. I also ended up adding a dry brushing of silver over it all to kind of bring it all together. I don't know if that picks up on the camera, but in person, it's subtle. It's kind of hard. You kind of only if the light catches it at a certain angle. So, but yeah, there's Quicksilver. Pretty happy. I've also been making progress on my Secret Santa. I do those legendary Secret Santa figure swaps. I help organize them. I unfortunately had been working on something for the last, since the project started, so since August. And right after check-in, which was October 1st, I trashed it all and restarted. It was actually longer than that. It was like mid-October. So I've been working on the new pick for a couple weeks now, and moving slow, but it's starting to move a bit quicker. So that's good. So I'm just going to mix up this epoxy sculpt here. I don't really need a ton of it tonight, but yeah. What do you guys think of those new Marvel Legends reveals from the weekend? Ultimate Captain America and Extremis Iron Man, and what else was there? They showed Vertigo and Zero from that 5-pack with Pretty Boy and Random. They showed Random too. Ooh, Random looks fucking awesome. Can't wait. I have an old custom that I used a casting cave head of what's his name, Bruce Willis, for Random's head, and like I literally got like every other comment when I first revealed it was like, "Hey, that looks like Bruce Willis." So now whenever I look at it, like all I see is Bruce Willis. I hate it so much. It's an older custom, so you know it's understandable that I don't like it, but yeah, I'm excited for that Random figure. What are you guys excited for? Let me just finish mixing this and then I'll check I can see them, but I'd like to highlight them if I can. So next week, I'm so excited for next week, guys. Next week, I am going to have on another guest, my buddy Ryan from Moose Milk Media. He's my buddy that I do the Sunday night pods with. Because I can't be there on the weekend and he's on vacation, he's able to join me finally. So he's going to be my guest next week. I'm assuming he's going to be building Legos, but he also might just be shit talking me. So that's either ways should be really fun. You guys really won't get a more genuine version of me than you will with Ryan, because he is my best friend he's been my best friend or one of my best friends for 20 years. So, we have a long history together, and I'm pretty excited. I'm excited for this group because I enjoy the chat that I get with this group. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to have him on, and he'll be really engaging with the chat too, which is fun. And yeah, if you guys haven't checked out the podcast I do with him over on his Instagram channel, Moose Milk Media, do so, because it's stupid. It's fun. But we have a good time. You can tell we enjoy each other's company. So I'm just kind of taking off all the unnecessary bits right now. So I don't actually need any of this on. It was just on for the sake of a picture. I'm also going to take all the bits that I'm working with here. Let's take these other parts out here. It's going to be a good one. There we go. And the head. Yeah, I could probably leave the head on, to be honest. It'll give me the most secure. Okay, so these need to go on clips. These, those probably don't need to go on clips. These do, though. So I'm just going to grab my little box of alligator clips. Let's see what's up. Marcus E says, "Got you. Once I'll send them once I see I won't be here until the day before I gift the custom to my friend." Cool, man. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. You've been talking about it for a while, so cool to see your finished product. Darth Gutierrez says, "Well, Quicksilver looks good." Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And Darth Gutierrez says, "Who's faster, Quicksilver or Makari?" I mean, I think Makari probably is because she's like an eternal, but I'd love to say Quicksilver because he's a mutant and I like them better. Collector Express says, "Hello. Hey, man. How's it going? I was just talking about you and your suggestion on these two. Pretty excited to use them. I haven't tried them yet, but yeah, I'm excited to use them." Darth Gutierrez says, "Ah, snap. At Collector Express. Whip It Crew. Hashtag Whip It Crew." Nike Boy J says, "I saw HasLab Ghost Rider ain't coming out." Yeah, dude, I know, that's too bad. But I really hope that it sucks for the people who wanted it, but I do hope that the Legends team takes something away from that because again, I was never hating on it. I was never intending on buying it. I'm not the audience for that. But even for me, I was like, man, it's a lot of money for what you're getting. So I think the sentiment was heard loud and clear, and I hope that coming back next time they take that into consideration a bit. Collector Express says, "Disappointed that Vertigo's on an old skinny leg body. As soon as I saw it, I thought of our conversation about the skinny legs." Marcus says that the Marvel Legends Extremist Iron Man made me spiritually busted. That's awesome. Been waiting for an update for a while. Yeah, dude, it looks really good. I don't need a million Iron Mans, but it's so hard to not buy them when they come out because they just look like such fun figures. Spiritually busting that. That's awesome. Collector Express says, "With random, I wish they would have used a Mega Red body and the weapon was detachable." Yeah, me too, man. I agree. I wish it was on Omega Red body too. You know what though? You might be able to part swap because I don't know if you noticed, but like the boots look really, really big and out of place on him. Like I noticed they're like overly big. So I wonder if you'd be able to do a kit bash on that and give him on a bigger body. Quebec Diorama says, "Hello, what's up, man? How's it going?" Yeah, I got the Micro Solid set, so we'll see how it works. I'm gonna play with it next time I need to do a water slide. So yeah, I'm gonna get started on this guy. Okay, I'm gonna start by I also need a piece of metal. So I have to put this stuff somewhere. And my magnets. Nice. Okay. So I'm just going to put some magnets down here. Me and Collector Express are literally like the same person. He says, "I have some extra Warpath, so I'll definitely try that swap. Because I can imagine you were just like me, and when Warpath went for a little cheaper, you stocked up, right? Because it was a good body, a new base body that's blank, and it had some extra hands. That's what happened to me. I was like, oh, he's got extras, and he's a clean base body? Yeah, I'm going to pick up a few of those. Okay, so hands first. Hands. 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 And then feet. I don't think I need to do that because I'm not going to go too crazy with the sculpt on the feet. I just have to do some minor blending. So thankfully I got a nice clean cut when I did my cut. So for anybody who's curious what I did with that, I found that the feet stuck out too much. These feet don't go with these lower legs. These are just retro Spider-Man lower legs. These are feet from, I think, a Netflix Daredevil. I might be wrong, but I think they're from a Netflix Daredevil. So what I did was they stuck out too far out the back. They were kind of like, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, they stuck out a lot. So basically what I did was I heated it up and I just cut out a really small portion and glued it back together. So it should be better. See, I know. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Collector Expresses, I'm using one of them for Rage. Great call. That body works way better for Rage. Okay, so I'm going to start by at least doing these first. Just getting the base coat down because I want this to be thin. But I don't want it to be... yeah, I need it to be thin enough that it doesn't look clunky, but it needs to be thick enough that it'll still hold the detail. So I kind of... and I don't have to do the fingers. It's just like the fingers are unwrapped on these ones. So I'm going to just mimic what they've done. So fingers will leave bare. Everything else will get like the wrapped up look. And then, like I said, I'm just doing this to match because I don't want to have like some alt hands that have like bare, like don't have anything, and then have like fists and weapon holding hands that do. I want them to all match. So it'll be tricky to get the inside here without it looking too thick. I might have to be creative there. We'll see. It's so nice to use this, like a fresh batch of natural, neutral epoxy sculpt again. My stuff that I was using before was pretty old, so I ended up throwing away the last little bit because I was just like, yeah, it's not really that good anymore. I just got my little things of water here. And so yeah, so I'm just going to start by getting the base on here, and then we will let it set and really get comfortable on there, and then we'll clean them up around the edges, and we will stamp them with the blue stuff stamps that we made. So yeah, so of that new stuff, like I was saying, I think random is probably the thing that I'm most excited for. I kind of am happy that I'm getting to the point with my Marvel Legends stuff that like there's really not as much for me to buy. It's kind of nice to not have to like worry about it when things come out. Like of everything they showed, the only things I was really interested in was like I was gonna buy that X-Men 5-pack regardless because it has pretty boy. I probably could have gone without Zero and Vertigo, but like I don't know. If they were released on a single card, there's still a good chance I probably would have picked them up just because they're X-Men villains. But yeah, I don't know. I agree though. I wish they would have used an updated body. I feel like at this point with the price we're paying, it's like not like even Yelena they showed with like the single jointed body elbows. I'm just like, guys, like I know you still have these molds in your repertoire. Like I get it, and like I get it when like you know it goes like say it's like a jacket sleeve arm and they don't have a pinless jacket sleeve arm for females yet, so they use a single. In that case, I'm like, yeah, all right, I get that, I guess, because you know I get it. Like I can just be forgiving about that, right? But when I see like we have good double jointed female arms in like what they used for that Yelena single joints, and I'm just like, guys, like you're charging so much money for these things, but you're giving us old shitty molds now. Like, well, I shouldn't say they're shitty. They're good, but they're just outdated, you know? So yeah, it's kind of a bummer, that part's. But again, it makes it easier to pass on them too, right? So, and like for me, like I said, on the Avengers side, there's not a ton that like I really need because like I kind of just wait for things that like look good to me. Like I kind of like that Wonder Man. I think he looks pretty good. I have no real attachment to Wonder Man, but that being said, like I have a Wonder Man in my display, so like I would probably swap the old one out with that new one because I like that look better. But yeah, I don't know. All right, there you go. That's probably about as thin out as I'm gonna get it. Collector Express says the old Riders series Black Widow female body is one of their worst. Yeah, it just doesn't have great range of motion in the elbows, or I don't know. I like the sculpt. The actual sculpt on it I like, but yeah, the movement on a lot of those female old single jointed bucks are not awesome. So yeah, I don't know. I'm happy that we're giving new stuff though. So, and it's cool to see when they do stuff like Ultimate Cap. You know, that's a whole new upper, like that looks like a whole new torso to me. I'm sure the legs are probably reused, but like, I mean, that's pretty impressive. They could have just fudged that for sure. I mean, I guess they technically couldn't have, but you know, they could have just omitted those details because, you know, in the name of saving a dime. But they didn't. They took in their all original sculpt that they probably won't be able to use for something else. So kudos to them. Maybe they can reuse some of that stuff for something else. Maybe like Isaiah Bradley or something. I was going to say Isaiah Thompson, but I think that's a basketball player. All right. I need to glue this thing. It's not behaving the way it's supposed to. All right, just softening out these edges, just trying to get that base coat down. There we go. Oops, I'm trying to stay on camera here. Yeah, so we started kind of getting into Christmas movies and shit, my wife and I. We both are big fans of Christmas, more so than Halloween. Speaking of which, did everybody enjoy have a good Halloween? Did anyone dress up, do anything fun? We went to my wife's parents' house and just handed out candy. They live in a super busy neighborhood, so like I think we had like over 400 kids. It's crazy. Super busy. Okay, that's like pretty good. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, I'm kind of missing the hole like up here though. Let's clean that and do that. Okay. Alrighty. Marcus E says the amount of accessories are nice for that Elena. Yeah. She comes with just the same stuff that the white Target Black Widow comes with, though. So it's not like unheard of or anything. But yeah, they're good accessories. To be honest, Gary, Peggy Dad, who Collector Express and I were talking about last week, he was nice enough. He had that figure. He bought it for something. I can't remember what. And I had mentioned to him that I was going to buy one when they went on cheap enough for clearance because I just wanted the guns. And he was nice enough to just send them over to me. It's really nice. So yeah, and again, that's coming from Scotland, right? So it's pretty, didn't have to do that, but appreciate that he did. And now Bucky has one of them, and the other one is being saved. The silencer gun is being saved for a assassin Deadpool thing that I want to do. So, Marcus E says, surprised they're doing Ultimate Cap, but I assume it's because for the 10-year anniversary of the return of ML. Oh, interesting. I didn't even think of that. But cool. They love to celebrate an anniversary. That's great, though. That's pretty cool. I want to be careful that I don't get any epoxy residue on this clear part here, like the throwing effect part, because I don't want to make it cloudy or anything. I have to be very mindful when I paint as well, because I use an airbrush, so I have to make sure it's really masked up well. Okay, to the inside here. Maybe this one I won't do. I'm afraid of making it too thick. This hand already feels a bit thicker because it was a gloved hand. Even though I shaved this surface off, it still feels kind of thick. So maybe I will just do one little bit here, not the whole hand. I mean, at the end of the day, very rarely will you see the underside, I think, with the throwing effect. It'll mostly be out like that, so. That's good. I just need a little bit on the corner here. So yeah, so I'm pretty excited about next week with Ryan. Should be fun, man. He pops in periodically. Wouldn't be surprised if he popped in tonight. He usually at least stops by and says something inappropriate, which is good. Speaking of popping by, Charlie says, I'm here, and if I disappear, it's because I fell asleep. Hey, that's fair, man. The fact that you're here is great. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Collector Express says, I'm digging that new ultimate cap with the diaphragm joint, plus the new boots and gloves. Yeah, I like the new boots and gloves. But did you notice the diaphragm joint is by itself? It doesn't have the double nab. It doesn't seem like the Power Ranger style or G.I. Joe style articulation. Even though it looks like it should, it doesn't seem to. Maybe it's just the pictures, but I was kind of looking for it, and I happened to notice that it wasn't in between the reds and whites and blues, which I was surprised because it seems like that's a pretty good place to put them. You could kind of put them there, and it seems like Ab Crunch works really well on the 80th anniversary Captain America, or like the retro one, because like the stripes are in positions to kind of like hide it, so it'd be weird for it to not have it, but it doesn't look like it does, so I don't know. Marcus says Halloween came and went for me, and Collector Express says I dressed up as a dude napping in a recliner with authentic snoring. Very good. That's funny. All right, I think that's as good as I need it to be. There we go. I'm pretty excited. This weekend is my last weekend having to do donut shifts in one of the new stores that we opened, which means I don't have to get up at 5 a.m. on Sunday, Mondays anymore. Yay! Well, I'll believe it when we actually get there, but there's going to be a week coming up, not this week, not next week, but the week after that. I'm going to take the Wednesday off. I'll be busy with coming back to work, and I just won't have time to do a live stream, I don't think. So, yeah, so I'll have to miss a week coming up, but that's okay. Okay, let's quickly just blend this shit together. So usually when the epoxy is soft, the instructions for epoxy sculpt actually say to mix it and then let it sit for a half hour before using it. I don't do that. I like how soft it is when you first mix it. I always start using it right away. Even when it's fresh, I still do. I've never had any issues with it. Still holds up and whatever. This is good. The seams are very, very small, so you can't really tell that it's cut. So I'm not going to do anything on the outside. I'm just going to fill in the inside. This one has a gap right there. I don't know if you can tell because it's just all black, but so that one I am going to fill in because this one was less of a clean cut than this one was. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but this one has a dirty gap right there. So that one is going to get filled in. But the other one was clean enough that I didn't feel like it needed it. So and the nice thing about this being freshly mixed and a fresh container is that it's very easy to blend right now. As a customizer, as a sculptor, there's nothing more enjoyable than working with a fresh batch of epoxy, for me anyway. It's one of those joy. It's like a new blade in your hobby knife. It's a good feeling. Oops. So I'm just trying to push this in right into that crevice so that way I fill it in. Any like little minor imperfections I'll sand out. That's good. This side looks pretty good. I think I still. All right. I kind of just end up using it like drywall filler, like just get my finger in there and just fill in all those little tiny gaps. There's also this stuff you can buy. It's like liquid green stuff. It's like comes out of like a toothpaste thing. And it works pretty good for that too. If you're just looking to fill in those minor little things. It works good. Mine's kind of old now, so it's not as effective. But when it was new, it was fucking awesome. So I used it to fill in, like, if I had like a scratch or something in a sculpt from like, you know, trying to like cut something off of an existing sculpt, and then I make like knife marks in it or whatever. It was helpful. Marcus E with the donuts. My crew can be the donut crew. I love making donuts. It's fun, dude. It's my favorite thing about my job. Even though it's the worst because I have to wake up early. Marcus says currently trying to make a microphone out of epoxy, also trying hard to not make it accidentally look like a dildo. Yeah, I know what you're saying there, man. I actually need to get some like props printed in like a 1/12 scale. Like I need like a paintbrush and some sculpting knives or tools or something like that for when I make my figure of myself, because I'm going to ultimately switch out Deadpool in my thumbnails probably, or he'll still probably be present if I'm being honest, but with a custom of me. So Charlie says I make dicks with my extra epoxies. I threw it away, but what I saw somebody make like a sculpture out of their extra epoxy that they had been using over the years, and like it was pretty cool. Like it wasn't anything crazy, but like I can't remember who did it, but I started doing it for a while too, and then I just threw it away because it was in my way. And like usually when I sculpt them at the it's at the end of the night, so like there'll be lots of times where like I just don't want to do it. Like I'm just too lazy to fuck it. Like it's like I just finished and I'm like I have to like sculpt with this leftover like hard dried out shit. Okay, so I'm going to just try a couple things here. I may not keep these, but I'm just going to see. So what I'm doing is I'm just blending the edges into the sculpt. I'm just trying to make a couple like more pronounced like folds in the boot, because the idea is that this kind of looks like in my head from what I'm looking at the images, the reference pictures, it kind of reminds me of like burlap, like wrapped around like a boot kind of thing. So I'm just trying to mimic like some of those like more big folds that you would get in something like that. You know, I'm pretty happy with the smaller details that I already have, but I just want to, yeah, get it a bit more pronounced in a couple spots just to make it look like it's not just flat, you know? So I use these to soften out the edges. I don't love this one. The last set I got were these ones, and the silicone tips are like really soft. So they're not as nice to like form stuff as some of my previous ones. And then there you go. Add some wrinkles kind of around it to look like it blends in. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see that or how well you can see it, but and obviously right now it looks like it's standing out a lot, but it's really isn't that much. Ooh, there we go. That's nice. Charlie says, I just bought a new printer and volunteered as tribute for printing props. All right, cool. That's great. Thanks, man. We can chat about that later. Please, if you do it though, make sure you send some 3D printed dildos or dicks with it too. I'll be like, I got all this stuff from my friend Charlie. Collector expresses, I was filling in the seams on the boot rotation of the trunk. Oh, of the trunk's namer that I glued in place earlier. Oh, that sucks, man. Why are you doing that? Oh, you're filling in the seam. Sorry. Yes, that's good. That's a good call. Yeah, you said you didn't like it on the bare body, on the bare legs, right? Because it doesn't look natural, which I agree with you. All right, so I'm just gonna do another one here. I think. I don't think I'm gonna do more. I don't want to get too carried away because I ultimately want the biggest kind of like cuff to be from the, you know, where the boot attaches, because like that cuff's a little bit bigger, as you can see. I also need to give the in between those joints a really good sand because they need it. So yeah, so I have I'm going to Banff in a couple weeks. I'm going to it's kind of like a town in, it's like a little, I think it's a village. It might be a town. It's not, maybe it's, I don't know what it is. But it's like world famous. There's like we're staying in a haunted hotel. It's the Fairmont in Banff. And yeah, they're like world renowned for like hauntings and stuff like that. So interesting. It's expensive. And my wife booked it, which of all people I'm surprised, because she's like, it's world renowned, honey. And I was like, yeah, because it's haunted, not because it's fucking nice. It is nice, but like I told my boss about it today, and he was like, yeah, whenever we're there, we always go and walk in because it's super bougie, right? And it's like, fuck, how much are we spending to stay there? Because my wife does all the booking. But I mean, usually when we do vacation, we go all out. We don't, you know, we're pretty good for that stuff. We like to enjoy ourselves. We're young, so we don't want to, you know, half-ass our travels, right? Especially if we decide we're gonna have kids, and you know, like we don't want to have to not, you know, I don't want to have to travel when I have kids. It sucks because it's one of the things I love the most. Is I like to travel a lot, you know. But I've seen in all of my travel, I've seen so many parents do it. I've seen so many parents do it well too, in fairness, but I've definitely seen a lot. Just like I look at them and I'm like, God, man, that fucking sucks. So right now I'm just going over all of these details with a paintbrush and rubbing alcohol. I do this to soften all of the details. I may end up doing one more little spot here, just so I feel like it looks a little too like fake. There we go. What do you guys say? Collector Express says, yeah, I hate the look of the boot rotation when the figure doesn't have boots, especially if the legs are bare skin. Yeah, I hear you, man. It works for things like Spider-Man and stuff because he kind of looks like he's got little booties on. But yeah, for like bare human skin, it's weird. Oh, this is touching the one on the back, which I don't want. So let's start that again. This is the right leg, so yeah, so we want to do it kind of like down here. There we go. And I need something firmer than the one I'm using. This is the one I had before. It's a little bit better, but it's not super clean, so yeah, that works way better though. There we go. Just trying to do it a little bit like irregular, not so much like the one above it. Just so, again, I don't want it to look too uniform. I want it to pass as a real fold, though I don't want it to look too soft, you know? There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly clean that up. Ooh, man. Hopefully this one's bristles aren't. I had to stop using the other brush I was using because the bristles keep falling out. It's just a cheap brush, and the cleaner that I've been using, that Winsor & Newton, once you use that, sometimes the bristles start to fall out on cheaper brushes. Mm-hmm. Cool. I think that looks good. Yeah, I think that looks good. In worst case, I sand it down a bit, but I think it looks good. It's hard to say. Just looking at the silhouette of it from my screen. Okay, I think it's good. Ooh, that sounds cool. Nike Boy J says, I'm thinking about making some life-size killers to go in my horror room, bring some life to it. I have a friend who, I don't know if you guys remember on Instagram a while ago, but I got a figure from one of my local friends. He made me a Delson from Street Fighter. And it was that guy who did it. And he did like a sentinel. Sorry, I'm just looking I want to match these. So this is right leg, this is left. So one on the inside and then two on the outside. Okay. He has a mannequin that he uses and he kind of changes out what it is. So he made like a sentinel outfit to put on it. So he has this like 7 foot tall or 6 foot tall sentinel. It's fucking cool as hell. But yeah. That'd be a cool idea though, man. That'd be really cool. I would be interested in seeing that. I've been rewatching the first, starting at season 1 of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Fuck, man. So funny. Oh, Collector Express says I definitely need to upgrade my webcam. So I think you and I were talking about this before we went on, or maybe it was even when we were on, about how I bought that expensive camera. So yeah, so I bought a ZV-1 just for webcam, and like that's like the nice thing is like it has really sharp, usually has really sharp autofocus. So it's like pretty clear, right? And then plus, like, I don't have the StreamYard Premium. Like, I have the one you pay for, but I don't have the high one. So it's like I can't do any higher than 780 or 750 or whatever resolution. So it's like it's partially that too, but yeah, this camera is like awesome for that. But I still don't love it. As I was telling you, I kind of have a little bit of buyer's remorse because I just bought it without really knowing what to do with it, you know. But eventually I can learn. But I am just not one of those people that takes the time to do that stuff sometimes. So yeah, we'll see one day. My focus next year is I want to get back into playing my bass guitar again. So I'd really like to create some music for my channel. But yeah, it's been a fucking minute since I played, so I kind of want to do something in the vein of this band I like called Vacationer. It's like this guy from a band I like called The Starting Line, the bassist and singer, and he just like makes a bass track and then like puts like electronic music over it. It's really fucking cool and like super chill, and I like it a lot. So kind of want to try to do something like that. I mean, for the record, I am not a good musician. Even when I was actively in the band, I wasn't a good musician. I was the bassist, so you know that's a decent amount. Not to say that there aren't great bassists. There definitely are, but I wasn't one of them. Um, so yeah, I'm not an amazing musician, but it just would be fun to pick it up again. I don't have a ton of interest to like produce or make my own like a bunch of music. Like I said, it's more just for the channel, and it would be cool to be able to say that like I did that, you know, especially with my background. So ooh, I like how this one looks. That looks like a very believable bunched up bit of fabric. I don't know if you guys can really see or not, but I like it. Does it cut too much? No, I think it'd be okay once I put the other side on. If I can suggest, dude, if you don't want to spend crazy money, I have one I can send you if you remind me after we're done. I bought off Amazon here for like I think they were like $60 Canadian. So, but like I get really good quality out of those ones too as kind of my backups. That's what I started with initially. But yeah, they work pretty good, like for the money especially. Like I find them pretty good. So if you're interested, hit me up. I mean, I'm assuming you could get them in the US too. I can't imagine you couldn't. But even on Amazon Canada, they were cheap, and they were like surprisingly good. So, okay. I think this is like a bit too long, so we're gonna just take some of that off. So yeah, so I'm going to Banff for 5 days, and then that's next. I leave next Thursday, and then I come back the following week. I work for 3 days, and then I'm off for another full week, which I'm pretty excited about. I hope to do a bunch of customizing shit, just shit around the house too. So would love to have like some house work that I've been putting off for a long time. That like I'm like I need to get this shit done. My closet needs to be renovated and like to give myself more space for toys. Yeah, so I got some stuff to keep me busy over that week, which is nice. And I'm gonna see if my wife wants to go do maybe a day trip or something somewhere. Maybe she can get a day off. She's been working like stupid hours, so I'm hopeful that she'll be able to get a little bit of time, even just a day or something. So it'd be nice. But we have Banff in the worst case scenario, so at least there's that. Okay. This one I feel I like the fold, but I'm worried that it sticks out too much. Yeah, maybe it does. Shit, I like that fold. I don't want to lose it, but it's too heavy. So I'm going to kind of come down from the top with a bit more pressure and try to create like a second fold out of it instead. There we go. That looks pretty cool. And then it takes it down a bit so it's not so pronounced off the boot. There's still like a kind of a sharp edge right here though that I gotta get rid of. Cool. I think that's good. All right, and I'll do one more minor one underneath. And then I'll say the boots are good. And then I just got to do the hair. All right. So aside from Always Sunny, I also started watching last weekend because of the Halloween. I started watching The Simpsons, like old Simpsons episodes again. And yeah, it's fucking great, man. Like season 3, and I started on season 3. And I got through all of season 3 and into season 4. And I'm laughing my ass off. Fuck, those old Simpsons are so goddamn funny. We also have Secret Santa reveals coming up pretty quick here. Once we get into reveals and they start happening, I'm going to invite, I don't know if both will be able to make it, but I'm going to invite Draven Arts, who's been on before, to come and chat about it, because even though he doesn't do anything for the Christmas one, he participates, but he doesn't like do any of the work. We're trying to like unify the Summer Swap, which he runs, and the Secret Santa, which Ethan Supley Customs and I run. That looks pretty cool. So I wanted to have both of them on so we can start going through some of the reveals that happen. Usually we have a big like splurge of like early reveals, like stuff that happens right out of the gate, people who are basically ready to send and whatever. So if that's the case this year, then we'll probably have them on early and we'll go over the whole initial drop of the new figures to start. And then but I'm really excited. The reveals are a lot of fun, so I'm excited to see, and I've been able to see what most I've seen almost all of the work in progress pictures so far because I'm helping organize it. So I'm lucky enough to see those pictures, and man, there's some doozies out there, dude. There's some real fucking good ones coming out. So yeah, I can't wait for people to start seeing some of them. Like even just in the not finished versions yet, I'm like, holy shit, these are awesome. There's going to be some real bangers. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for everyone to see. We got a bunch of new people. Morning Wolves joined us for the first time this year, which is really exciting. We got Casting Cave, Corey Gaza from Casting Cave. I don't know if I love these, but I might have to just let them dry, throw some paint on them, and see how I'm feeling. I feel like they might be a bit too much. Let's see here. I feel like that'll be fine. They just look crazy because they're different colors. I'm gonna leave them. I think they're okay. This one's a bit crazy, but I like these ones. I'm gonna leave it. It's easy enough to just sand them down if they're like too pronounced. yeah, we're leaving it. I like it enough. Charlie says, does anyone else want 3D printed sex toys for action figures? And Marcus says, thanks for the clarification. Oh my god, that's crazy. Collector Express says, I remember watching the original Simpsons shorts on the Tracy Ullman show. That's insane. I tried to watch season 1 of Simpsons. I kind of tried to start there when I first got Disney Plus, and I couldn't get through them. They're not what I remember. So yeah, it's a pass for me. Okay, last thing is the hair. This should be relatively painless too. So yeah, so Gambit doesn't have his signature head sock in Age of Apocalypse. He has a headband instead. So what I'm going to do is the headband on the front, this is actually from the old Toy Biz Gambit, which had the head sock. So I left the band up at the top and just sanded the rest off. So I'll just continue it around the back. But the first step will be to do the rest of the hair. So I'm basically just going to apply a thin sculpt and then do some hair sculpting. This kind of hair sculpting is easy. It's just making lines basically, but I mean it's a little bit more complicated than that, but I mean not really. And I don't have to worry about blending it in too much at the top because the what's it called will be there, the headband. But I am going to thin it out because I don't want it to be really thick up there. I want the headband to just I still have to sculpt another layer up there, right? So I don't want it to be thick. So I'll get that part thin. And then I'll sculpt some details in. Well, I'll shape it first because again, this is the 90s, so hairstyles being what they were, particularly in comics. I do like this Gambit head sculpt. I think it works for this version of him in particular. The facial expression, the hair is pretty much perfect. That's the part that sticks out, I mean. Where is my knife? Yeah, man. Collector Express says that Gambit Toy Biz Gambit head still holds up. It does. I agree. It's pretty good. I'm just going to trim off some of this excess right now. And I'm going to keep working at thinning this stuff here out just a bit more. That's pretty good. Okay. Very nice. And then just to make sure that it's even, I'm going to thin out all the way to the bottom. And then cut off the excess again. There we go. When I was prepping this retro Spider-Man body, I shaved down the neck so I could get more range of motion like around the neck, like not back, but like kind of more like side to side and get more expression. But it didn't do as much as I thought it was going to do. I mean, it did do something, so I guess there's that, but it wasn't as glamorous as I thought it was going to be. All right, so I'm just trying to get that kind of sharp edge there. I am going to trim around the ear. Take that out. Take that out. That one can come a little bit more. Cool. There's that. So I'm just going to try to get the general shape around the back here. Ooh, I don't want to. That's going to become a mess. Okay, good. Should probably do the sideburns here too. Just don't want to put more on here than I need to, you know? Okay. Okay, I'll trim those in just a minute here. Give them some big rock sideburns. You smell what Gambit's cooking? So yeah, I got some cool projects coming up. I can't wait to share with you guys the Secret Santa figure I'm doing. It's turning out really cool. I had to do one thing that took like quite a bit of time. I'm still not finished, but basically I can only do one. Think of like it's not chainmail, but it's the same idea in terms of like layering bit by bit. I'm doing it each layer by layer, and I have to, because it's on a contoured section, I have to cut the piece out, put it on the figure, glue it on, and then tightly tape it over the glue to get it to conform to the shape I need it to. And then I have to do the next layer on top of it, and so on and so on. So I can really only do one layer every like 3 hours, basically. It's fucking annoying, but it looks good. So at least like the finished product is like looking pretty sick. But yeah, it's like, oh my god, it's a lot of work. But I'm happy that it was my figure of choice on this list. Like my first one that I had mentioned already, I stopped on because I just wasn't enjoying it, and like kind of gone into this place now where it's just like I don't really want to stress about customs anymore. I just want to have fun. So yeah, I'm trying to like step away from those projects that are like really, really, really complicated. Not because I can't do it, but because I want to enjoy the process, and ultimately I just don't enjoy that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, so I'm gonna just cut around the ear here, get a little sideburn action going on. I'm gonna take, what does Gambit's sideburns look like? Let me just open up my thing. I don't think I remember being able to see. So it's not crazy in this look. Not that he ever had crazy sideburns, but yeah, nothing crazy. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure I don't want to undercut or undersell. If he had some giant rock style fucking sideburns, I'd be putting them on. So I think that's probably good. Yeah, I think that looks good. So that's where I'm. Doesn't look like he really has much, so I'm gonna roll with that. And then once I put some markings in it, it'll look a little bit bigger. That's what she said. Okay. Okay. And that's thin. It could probably be a little bit. The other thing is trying to get them symmetrical and being the same on both sides. I try to use the ear as like a marking point for that, but even then sometimes it's a little off. Oh, I don't want to use this one. It's got those loose brush hairs. Okay. Cool. That should work nicely. I'm going to run this around the ear once more just to make sure it's got some breathing room from the hairline. Because this hairstyle is kind of short on the sides, I don't want it to look all bushy around the ear. There we go. Cool. There we go. Okay, we're gonna let that sit for just a minute here before I start doing some detail work to it. Should his sideburns be a bit bigger? I feel like they should be. Collector Express says, I was hoping that the local Target was one of the ones that were clearancing out future Foundation Spider-Man figures, but no luck. I was going to stock up on those bodies if they were. Yeah, I feel like that one is inevitably going to. The biggest difference between you guys and us here in Canada is your clearance prices are crazy. Like they go down to like $4 or $5 sometimes. Like what the fuck? We never see that. That's like I shouldn't say that. GameStop every once in a while does $5 Fridays, and every once in a while they'll put a bunch of Marvel Legends stuff up. But a lot of the times it skews that like they don't have anymore. Like it's just like they clear them out in the system. So like, you know, if a store somewhere is heavy on, like last week's one, they had a Love Triangle box set for $5, but like it was only available at like, you know, 2 stores in Canada. Like you couldn't buy it online or anything like that. You have to do it in person. But yeah, it's crazy. Because you're like, damn, really? That's cheap as fuck. Okay. There we go. I think that's a bit better. It's not still small, but not as crazy. There we go. And then this one, I'll just add a little bit more on too. Nike Boy says, I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but there's going to be a Community movie. I saw it earlier, reminded me of you, so I wanted to tell you. I'm sure you already know. Yeah, I am aware. Yeah, I'm a huge Community fan. It's funny, I was watching the Toy Migos have, like, if you're a member, I'm a member on their YouTube or whatever. And they do these, like, extra episodes. And I'm catching up on some of the older ones that I missed that I didn't realize I had access to until recently. And one of the ones they were doing, they were talking about like dream toy lines, like if they could pick a company to make a property. And then I started thinking about like a line of Community toys and like how fucking awesome that would be. Yeah, I'd love it if like the thing is, the Super 7 doesn't really do realism. I mean, I guess they can, or maybe they do. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what they have done that's realistic. So like Community is like a cartoony kind of thing would work for Super 7, but I would love to see like, you know, NECA is good with accessory. The thing is if I ever got a Community line of action figures, it would need to be accessory heavy because that is the show that has so many fucking deep cut payoff jokes for people who stick around. And yeah, oh, I'm not really liking how much this sticks out. Let's cut that back. Let's dial that shit right back. I think that's good. Okay, cool. I'll let that chill for a minute. And we're going to clean up these hands. Just get... Actually, I should probably press them first, and then I'll... Okay, so to press these, I'm going to try something here. Oh yeah. So unfortunately, these are really, really rounded, and it's not going to really work. Oh shit! I just hit this with a nut. Still okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually like cut these and try to use the pieces as stamps rather than trying to like squish in something that doesn't fit into a mold. There's going to be a couple that are going to work better here than the others though. This one's flat, so I'm feeling like this one's a pretty good likelihood of being able to do what I need it to do. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting off the extra of this blue stuff, and then I'm going to try to like flatten it out and use it as a stamp, basically. I don't know if it'll work. If it doesn't, I'll just sculpt the bands on. It's not that big a deal. It would just be nice for the sake of consistency to have it so I don't have to, but it might not work simply because it's not flat to begin with, so could create a problem, but let's see. Oh snap, it's working. I don't know how much you'll be able to see. It's pretty subtle. Yeah, I might end up just sculpting them. Like I can see, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I guess you probably can kind of see that. So it is working. How do I get inside the hand here? That didn't really work. It didn't work. Nike Boy says clearance prices are nice at Walmart. I got my Crossbones and Cat 2-pack for only $12. Holy crap, that's a great price. Sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, I can't not buy it at that price. Like it's just too good of a deal. Like I'm just going back in and I need something softer. This is good. That's a good price, dude. Collector Express says figures of community characters as their parody G.I. Joe characters would be cool. What's Shirley's name? Isn't it like single mom, 3 kids or something like that? Or like it's something funnier than that. Obviously, my jokes aren't funny, but yeah, man, I love Community. Fuck, it's so funny. Okay, I'm just gonna do this by hand. I feel like I'm gonna have to go back in and do a lot of it by hand anyway, so again, these are just like pretty fine wrap, so I'm just going to try to copy it off of this as best as I can. So get a couple more pronounced lines, like cool. The thing is they're all going to be the same color anyway, like even the fingers and the wrap part, so it's not like a huge, it's more just for the consistency sake with the other stuff. I don't want to I don't know if I should. I'll just lightly go over these. Cool, that looks pretty good. I don't know if you guys will be able to see that or not, but let me see if I can do this. Hang on. Okay, maybe if I do that. I don't know if you can see that well. I know you can see it a bit, but okay, that looks good enough. Maybe I will use this as like a base to at least get a feel for where I'm going. Let's seemed like it worked for that last one, so I think I'm going to try that again. I think I'll start with the inside since that's the trickier spot to get. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. God damn it. I need to fix that. It's not accurate. Let's try that again. This way. Okay. And then go through with this. And again, I still have to trim. I have a lot of like excess on here that I got to get rid of. Oops, dropped my example. Yeah, I wish we had clearance prices like you guys have, man. But we don't. The odd once in a while, like I said. Sometimes I'm just like I keep a bunch of stuff that I'm watching in my Amazon cart, like my save for later, and I just watch the price go down and inevitably, hopefully, eventually jump on stuff. The problem is I always buy what I want for my collection right away. I usually don't have the self-control to stop myself. So for me, usually I'm buying doubles when I'm buying on Amazon for cheap or whatever, for fodder mostly. But yeah. In this circumstance, this softer edge that I was complaining about on the tip of this sculpting tool is actually helping me. Because it's not as stiff, it's not leaving as prominent a mark. And it's kind of like softening my edges, which is nice. That's what I'm kind of looking for. So cool. It does look a little thick on this hand, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna have to accept it for what it is for now. So what would you guys want to see action figure lines of if you guys had an option? If there was something, I know I'm stealing their thunder. By the way, shout outs to the Toy Migos. If you guys aren't following the Toy Migos, I strongly recommend that you follow them. They're not only hilarious, they're a great source for toy news, but they're hilarious. And it's their 300th episode tomorrow, which they've done more of because they used to do these things called Quickie Minis, and they would do like shows on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and then Thursday would be the big show at the end of the week. But yeah, their 300th episode tomorrow. So I don't think they're watching this. You know, I don't think they do much of the live stream because they're so busy with doing the live streams. But if somehow this gets back to them, kudos to those Toy Migos boys. They're awesome. I very much enjoy what they do. They're funny, they're engaging, and they create a very safe place to have an opinion and to talk toys. And in a lot of ways, I try to mimic them in a lot of ways, like with my thumbnails every week. Cheney, the resident photographer of the group, does a new thumbnail shot every week, and that's his motivation to do a picture every week. And I love that idea. I'm in no way on Cheney's level, but yeah, man, they're very much an inspiration to me in what they do. So if they happen to hear it. Shout out to those Toy Migos boys on 300 episodes. That's fucking the best, man. You guys deserve it. I'm expecting an awesome opening show with all those bands that Ernie promised last week. I think there was promises of Blink-182, which, I mean, I'm not surprised. It's Toy Migos, so come on. Obviously, they're going to bring in the big names. And yeah, I'm excited. Should be a good 8-hour extravaganza. I'm looking forward to it. Marcus Yee says Quickie Minis with the green heart. Yep. That's what they were. That's when I got into the Toy Migos, from the Quickie Minis, when they were doing 5 episodes or 4 episodes a week. Marcus or Nike Boy J says, I remember the guy who used to always join the lives a few years back. His name was Suckahat42069. I'm hoping for his return one day. I don't know that name. Collector Express says Thunder the Barbarian, and preferably by NECA. I'm not super familiar with that. I know the name, but not familiar. But that's cool. NECA would do anything. My picks were let's look at Morning Wolf. Also, hi Morning Wolf. Thanks for joining us. Morning Wolf says, I would love to see a line of Seinfeld action figures. I feel like Seinfeld's another one that like would benefit from a company that does accessories well. Because I mean, again, I know Seinfeld. Like, I'm not like I haven't seen all of the Seinfeld episodes. I'm not a completionist on that front. Like, I am with a lot of stuff, but Seinfeld, one of those things that's like I kind of fell in love with from like being on in the background, and like it's like Always Sunny to me. Like I have seen all the episodes of Always Sunny, but it's kind of like. Yeah, it's like good background. When it's on in the background, I watch it. And yeah, Seinfeld would be cool. Moose Milk, Brian, my buddy, got the Seinfeld Lego set. The apartment, Jerry's apartment. I'm pretty sure that's what he got that. Yeah, because I don't think he got the Friends one, but I remember him getting something like that. But yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. My picks were NECA to do a community line and a real Ghostbusters. I feel like NECA could fucking kill real Ghostbusters. I also think that Super 7 would do a great job with the 4 boys from South Park in their anime forms from the Fun with Weapons episode of South Park. I think that would be a ton of fun as well. And I would love to see NECA also do the Tick. After I got that Tick figure from Trevor from NECA for that Secret Santa that one year, I was like, oh my god. And to be honest, I don't talk with Trevor a lot, but we do chat still from time to time. And he constantly sends me pictures of Tick. After he made the Tick for me, he went crazy making like a bunch, like kit bashing a bunch of Tick villains and stuff like that. Like he did like a Deflator Mouse, he did Chairface Chippendale, he did, can't remember all of them, a lot. He sent me so many pictures of stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. Marcus E says, I want Jada Toys to do DC. Most of my favorite franchises are covered, although 1/12 scale hip hop and other music genre action figures would be cool. Yeah, that was another thing I had on my list too, was Marvel or Hasbro doing band characters. Like I said, Blink-182, or I'd love a set of official Blink figures. Like honestly, I know they would never do it because like it's hard to get around, but like I would love a set of Blink in their first date video where it's from the 70s and they're all they're all from the 80s and dressed up like they're in the 80s. Alternatively, I would love a naked set of them all in their, like, with just censored fucking dicks. running naked throughout the streets in What's My Age Again video. Like, I'd love if they did like band box sets of like music videos or something that they all, you know, are recognized from like a particular like album cover or something. Would be cool to see something like that. And again, with something like that, you wouldn't need a ton of accessories. You just need like your instruments and a couple alt hands maybe, and you know, maybe a regular head and a singing head for your singers or whatever would be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know, that'd be fun. Some Tang Wong would go crazy for a Marvel vs. Capcom and a Marvel or Capcom vs. SNK 6-inch line. What's SNK? Capcom vs. SNK. I don't know what the SNK is. Also, welcome. It's not a name I recognize, so thanks for stopping by and participating in the chat. That's Marvel vs. Capcom. Oh, buddy, who would you want to do that? Who would you? What if you could pick a toy company to do that? Who would you pick? Like, you know, I mean, it's nice. I think Marvel Legends are great. I like Marvel Legends still. I'm not jumping off yet. But it would be cool to see, like, again, it would suck to have to wait Mafex times for that, but it would be cool to see like Mafex or SH take that, because that would be fun. I'd love more anything Street Fighter would be great. And then if they were doing Capcom Street Fighter Marvel stuff, that'd be very exciting. Okay, these are good. That's good. I'm gonna define these lines a bit more. I kind of lost them a little bit when I brushed them with the rubbing alcohol. I went a little too hard. Marcus E says Hiya Toys would have killed it with some Injustice 2 112 scale figures. I want Captain Cold. His design from the game is sick. I don't think I know that character. I also don't really know Hiya Toys very well, so I can't speak to them, but that's cool. And you mentioned DC. I gotta say, I feel bad for my DC friends who want good 6-inch DC figures but can't get them. It's a drag. So imagine having something that you could mix and match with your Marvel Legends. Like, how cool would that be? Okay, that's good. I'm not gonna hit that with the rubbing alcohol again because I want it to be, I don't want to lose the definition that I put into them. So there we go. I'm gonna get back to the questions in just 1 second. I'm just trying to. Cool. That looks mostly good. Marcus said Hasbro did have the rights to Death Row Records. I don't know if they could work something out to make figures of them, but it would have been cool. Do they not have them anymore, or did they lose them? I'm not a big rap guy, so there's not a lot of rappers I would probably buy, but I mean, I know that would be popular because I know there are a lot of people into rap, especially in our toy community. So that'd be dope. I'd love, honestly, even just for fodder, like for me, I would be down. Sun Tang Wong says SNK is like Fatal Fury, Terry Bogard, Cairo, Geese, Metal Slug, etc. Okay, cool. I didn't know they did that. And he said, good to be here. Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Marcus E says, nah, they lost the license after maybe a year or two. Interesting. Yeah, the thing is we're living in the golden time to be a collector, you know? It's just, there's no shortage of awesome properties for us to buy into, which is lovely. Okay, so I'm going to use this tool as like the flat, softer one, as I was saying, to do the sideburns because I don't want them to be overly harsh. And I also don't want to have to brush them with the rubbing alcohol because they're thin and I don't want to lose the definition on them or the shape on them. So I don't know if you can really see that or not. So I'm going to just start by doing both the sideburns and just getting them done. Cool. And then for the back, I'm going to use something different. I like to use this. This is like a newer thing for me, probably in the last year or so. I just like these basic, just like needles to do hair for guys. You can do kind of like some deeper drags to kind of start. And then you can lighten up from there. And you can use just the tip of it to get like the fine detailing, or you can use like the base of it to like get like some seriously good drags with, you know, some depth, adding some depth to it. Now again, his hair here isn't supposed to be super shaggy or anything in the back, so I need to be mindful about these drags that I'm doing and how I don't want to add too much depth because this isn't meant to look like shaggy hair. It's meant to be you know, just like short side hair. His mountain of hair is on the top of his head, so. All right. And I am going right up to the top, even though I know I'm covering that top section with the bandana. I just would rather have it than not have it. Yeah, because the bandana will go like right there. All right, so once I get my kind of initial one, I'll hit it with the brush and soften everything up. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't know if it's focusing. It's probably having a hard time because the surface is wet. So it's giving kind of like a glare. Come on. Focus. Yeah. I don't think you can see. Morrigo says, that's the exact tool I use to sculpt hair too. Right? They're so good. I have different variations. I have this one, which is kind of like the same thing, but a little bit offset as well. Right? And then I also have this one if I need to like really get in on an angle, but I can't get it in. That's what she said. Yeah, so I think this is mostly okay. Got a couple little spots here where I broke through the sculpt by accident. I'm going to use this to do some minor detailing, but I don't need to go too crazy here. The sculpt doesn't need to be highly detailed. It just needs to work. And I don't want to overdo it because I tend to do that. So cool. I think I like it. Nice. Okay. I think that this works. And then tomorrow I just have to do the second part of the headband and he should be good. Yeah, he doesn't quite have a buzz cut, Marcus. So sculpting a buzz cut hair is hard. It's like transitioning from wavy to short. Yeah. Especially when you're considering it as like a 1/12 scale, right? It's like even just the thinnest layer can translate to like an inch. And that's like, yeah, your shaved head isn't like an inch thick. The good thing, as I said last week, about the Age of Apocalypse stuff is no one can really ding you for source accuracy because every single panel, those characters are drawn differently. I know that's not entirely true, but there's lots of liberties being taken with the Age of Apocalypse art. I can tell you that for sure. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of go back to these and try to do a bit more with them. There we go. That's pretty good. I'm just kind of going over what I've already done and just adding a little bit more. It's good. And then this one, I should do it on this one too. Pretty bummed I'm going to be missing opening night of Black Panther. This is the second Marvel movie in a row that I've missed opening night, and it's the only 2 out of all of them that I missed opening night. I even saw Guardians of the Galaxy 1 the night before my wedding. I went out with some of my friends that were in my wedding party and saw it. It was great. We had the rehearsal dinner. We were there until like 9, and then we caught like a 10:30 show. It was great. I loved it. Some Tang Guang says, "Who is that? Are you talking about what I'm working on? If you're asking what I'm working on, I'm working on an Age of Apocalypse Gambit right now. That's my current project on the go. So this is my base body. I have a retro Spider-Man torso, and then I swapped out the lower arms for Shadowlands Daredevil. Sculpted some details on the sides of the arms. The knee pads are from a Build-A-Figure Hobgoblin. And then I sculpted some details on the boot cuffs and obviously on the boots. And then the head is an old modified Toy Biz Gambit cast, and the boots are from a Netflix Daredevil, I think. And then I have like a belt from a Stormtrooper or a Clone Trooper or something. This is from, I want to say this shoulder harness is from, I actually don't know. It had swords in it at one point, so it must be a Deadpool maybe. This is from Night Thrasher. And he also has a cape from Odin's son Thor. So yeah, he's coming along. I'm quite happy with his progress. I'm moving very quickly on these Age of Apocalypse characters. Guys, I think I'm done. Some Tang Wong says, am I saying your name right? Some Tang Wong? What material do you prefer for sculpting? It depends what I'm doing. So, you know, my favorite thing to work with is epoxy sculpt, particularly when it's a fresh batch, which mine is a fresh batch. When it's fresh, it's awesome. I find it's easy to blend. I find it's easy to impress and sculpt into. I feel like it's just overall very user-friendly, particularly when against the other stuff I've tried. I do use green stuff sometimes, but it's for particular things. For example, anything that like I need flexible hair, usually I do with green stuff. I just did, I think as I was alluding to earlier, a project I can't fully share, but one of the processes I had to do was make like a sheet of green stuff, really, really paper thin. I rolled it out using baby powder and a rolling pin and actually got it like paper thin, and then used like a press to like cut out. Well, I won't show you the exact one I used so you don't know what I'm cutting, but basically one of these with like something in it, and basically cut out, a bunch of them, and now I'm using them to layer as like armor, basically. So it's not really armor, but looks like it's the same idea. So it kind of just depends what I'm doing. If I had to pick one thing, I think epoxy sculpt is still my go-to for most stuff. I like it for guys' hair sculpting. I find it's easier to sculpt with than green stuff personally. I usually just do the bangs with green stuff. Um, but yeah, I have used green stuff for other things too, and it is fine. But yeah, it just depends. So like another thing is like I'm going to be doing a banshee, which I actually didn't show you guys yet, but once I got started moving on this and realized how quick I was going to get through Gambit, I'm like, I should keep going. So I went and bought a Despair figure for the black base body, and I'm going to do some blue shading on it and do an AOA Banshee. This is a Marvel Select Hugh Jackman Wolverine screaming head, shrunken down to fit on a Legends body. I have it in a screaming and a non-screaming head, and the nice thing is Banshee in AOA really kind of has a similar hairstyle to this, so I won't have to do a whole lot to it. I do have to shave off some of the beard because this has got like a full beard, and he doesn't have that in AOA. But other than like some spikes on his shoulder and some blue shading, and he has these like long like things that come down from like under his arms, and they're like his cape kind of, but they're like long strings. There's like 4 on each arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some green stuff. I'm going to inset some wire into it, and I'm going to roll it out really thin. I'm going to cut them into strips, and then I'm going to have the wire sticking out, and I'm going to embed them into the arm. And before I do that, I'm going to dye them all black with fabric dye, which means I won't have to worry about any of the paint chipping off. So, but yeah, I've been thinking since I started all these AOA things, I'm like, man, a Banshee, even though he's not a character that I super badly need, would be an easy one. I wouldn't even have to prep the body. I just, I could do a couple spots. And then the face, right? So yeah, I think I'm going to probably do that in the very immediate future pretty quickly here, because it's another easy one I can bang out. And then I'm going to take a break from AOA and do a couple commissions. And then once I get back in the new year from that stuff, I'm probably going to, let's get this off here. I'm probably going to switch back to AOA to finish up. I have another 4, I think. What do I have? Let me look. I have a list. So yeah, so I finished Gambit and Banshee, and then I start working on a commission, Warbird, and I have a figure of myself that I'm doing. I have a secret figure I can't share, and then Death Locket, and then another secret figure, and then a couple commissions, and then I'm going to go back into AOA. Mr. Sinister, Jubilee, who looks like she's like in a 70s like exercise video, but I love it. Nightcrawler, and I really want to do Holocaust, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure that out. Might be tricky. So yeah. Collector Express says, "Oh, I bought a WWE China yesterday at $12 at Ollie's to eventually use as a base for Titania. That's a great idea. That new one, right? She has no, I think she only has single jointed elbows, doesn't she? You could probably swap something on though." Tang Wong says that would fit Titania. Still waiting on a good comic version of She-Hulk. Yeah, I know. What's going on? They're missing the ball on that, eh? You'd think they would have taken advantage of the movie or the show, but. And Tang Wong says, I have green stuff in Aves, I think, for a couple of months now, but too afraid to start sculpting. No, don't be afraid, dude. Just start small. It's like I always say, is like any experience is good experience. So start small, like start by just learning how to blend and like proper blending, and then move on to something smaller, like, do like some minor detailing on a chest or something easy, stuff. I say easy, like, like chests are good, easy workspaces to work on because you have a decent amount of like flat space, so you're not having to like go around like the curvature of an arm or something where that can be tricky. But yeah, you just gotta start somewhere, man. And again, like, what I always say is like never over do it. Like, keep your dreams in line. Like don't say your first figure is going to be something that's like just bonkers crazy, because like you're just setting yourself up to be frustrated. So pick something easy to start with and just like one step at a time, man. But you're not going to get better if you don't start. So just start. There's lots of good tutorials out there too, so you're pretty safe. And if you ever have any questions, you can always just hit me up on Instagram. I'm very chatty. You'll regret it. I'm just kidding. Morning with Custom says, "Oh man, that's so exciting! Super exciting! Thanks, man. Or that's so awesome! Super exciting." Marcus Yee says, "I didn't know you could dye epoxy. You can. Yeah. So are you gonna dye epoxy sculpt? So one of the figures I'm going to be doing, I again, it's a secret, so I can't say what it is. It's not Secret Santa, but it's something else that I haven't started yet. I need to dye it purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dye the base body purple. It's white to start with, so I get a nice bright purple. And then any details that I need to paint a different color, I'm going to sculpt after the fact, so that way the dye doesn't cut through. Because I think I've said it on here before, if you dye an action figure, eventually that dye will come through the paint, so be mindful. But yeah, you can dye. I actually learned from Draven Arts last year, Secret Santa. He did that big monster dude, and he put all the like hair around the ankle articulation, so it hid the articulation in the joint. And I was like, how do you not get paint rub on that? Like, there's no way. And he's like, I just dyed all of my Procreate black, and then I glued it on. And I'm like, that's the fucking smartest idea I've ever heard. So yeah, so dye works. Morning. Not laughing at you, Morning Wolf. This is great too. Morning Wolf says, "You're making me want all the AOA characters now." Well, that's what you get for making me want all the Generation X characters. So I call it even. Marcus E says, "Some parts of the MCU She-Hulk body can be reused for comic She-Hulk when they get to the basic jumpsuit version of her." Yeah, that's true. She's a good size too, right? So it would work. I think she's pretty comparable to the comic version too. Moose Milk says, "Hey girl, you hungry?" Hey buddy. I was promoting our show next week. Very excited to have you join us. Should be a fun one. Hope you're having fun putting milk out. Put your bags of milk out like a weird freak that you are. You weird Ontario people with your bags of milk. Weird. Just kidding. No hate. I'm from Ontario. Marcus E says, "I was hoping epoxy sculpt can be dyed because I wanted to use the white epoxy to fill in the belt gap for the Lightning Collection Rangers, then dye the whole thing." You're in luck. It takes very well. And I haven't had any instance where it didn't take, so you should be good. I try. Thank you. Lucy's excited. And Marcus says, "Canadian milk. Only in Ontario, I think. It comes in bags. It's weird." I remember always thinking it was so normal because that's what I grew up with. And then once I moved to BC, I was telling everybody about bags of milk, and they're like, "What? Why?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I guess I never really thought about that." Moose Milk says, "Hey, I'm not a farmer. I didn't decide the bagged milk ordeal. If I had a choice, I'd grenade all cows to devour their meat." Jesus. Sounds dangerous, but I like it. Guys, that's all I have for you tonight. I know it was kind of light, but I can show you this real quick. Let's do this. So speaking about Blink-182, I hired Cranium Kicker Customs, the guy who did my Mark Hoppus head that I did for Blink last time, to do a Tom DeLonge and a Travis Barker. I do need to get the Tom DeLonge one resized. It's a bit too big, but here's my Travis Barker one that he did for me, which I think looks really fucking good. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to keep it straight. Not bad, right? I actually took them out to piece some parts together with them again recently, so yeah, I'll be excited to work on those next year as well. So yeah, it looks good, eh? Marcus says that head sculpt looks good. Moose Milk says that's spot on. Yeah, it's really good. Marcus E says slapping people with bags of milk is now on my bucket list. That's great. Moose Milk says, how are you going to do all the tats? So yeah, so you missed it earlier, but I have this paper called water slide paper, and you can print stuff off on it, and then you put it in water, and then like it comes off, and you can like attach it to stuff. And then from my last week's episode with Collector Express, he suggested these two chemicals to me. One softens decals to add like to make them stick better, and one softens them to conform to irregular surfaces to make them look like they're painted on rather than like a piece of paper just taped or glued to your figure. So I'm gonna do a figure of me and do my tattoos and try it to see, like, to kind of work the kinks out. My Tom DeLonge figure, I think I'm gonna just try to bypass that by just putting him in long sleeves. It's not abnormal for Tom to wear like a long sleeve shirt under his short sleeve shirt, so I'm probably going to do that just to save myself the grief. But Travis, I'm not going to go shirtless, even though it makes the most sense for him. Well, we'll see. If I can find good reference pictures for Travis's tattoos, I'd consider it. But his arms and neck, at least, I'm going to do with the water slides, so hopefully it works. Marcus says, how much did it cost to have that made, if you don't mind sharing? Yeah, so he's relatively inexpensive. There is a little bit of a catch, though. You don't get the file, so you have to rely on him to print. He won't give the file up, and he won't just do anything. So, like, I asked him to do a head sculpt with my buddy, and if there's no resale value on the head sculpt, he won't do it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I commissioned him for something else, and I think it's like $85 USD, and in like 6 weeks he'll basically get it done in like 6 to 8 weeks with one cast of the head. So you get the head in whatever scale you want. I don't think he has every scale available, but most. I just sent him an example head. Like, I sent him a reference head in the mail and said, like, I want everything you print to me to scale to this size. So that way I get exactly what I want. Because what happened last time was, like, I didn't do that. And, like, from the pictures he sent me, it looked good. And then I saw them in person, the Tom DeLonge one. Like, here's the Tom. You want to see it. And, like, the Tom one's really good, too. So, but you can see, like, so here's my base body for Tom right now. And again, like, you know, like you were saying about the Power Rangers filling in the belt. You know, I'm going to basically give them an untucked shirt. I don't feel like these guys need to have double torso crunch for their head or for their bodies. Like, I filled that in when I did my Mark Hoppus. I intend on filling it in here as well. But yeah, the head, as you can see, is too big. It's just a bit too big. But here's the Tom DeLonge head. It looks pretty fucking good, too. Tends to look better from just a slight angle. And I'm kind of doing them all in their, like, self-titled era stuff. So I'll also be making a stage diorama, small one. Draven printed for me. Here's Tom's guitar that I got. He also did for me. That Cranium Kicker also did for me. So yeah, so you can see it works pretty well. And he also did my Mark Hoppus head and base as well, which I'm going to be using again. So yeah, I got a pretty good little setup here. I got 2 guitars printed. I'm going to do his brown and white guitar, the brown with the beige stripe, and I'm going to do the one from the new Edging music video with, like, the red one with the stickers on it. And then what else do I have? Here's my Where's Travis? Travis? Travis isn't really fully together because I'm still trying to figure out the parts. But this will be, like, kind of the base. So yeah, I'm going to give him, like, a sleeveless shirt. If I can do the tattoos easy enough, I'll do a Pizza Spidey torso and, like, the scrawny little skinny body. I'll have to fill in a lot of the musculature. That's what I did with my Mark Hoppus figure, is I took this Pizza Spidey arms and I filled in all the musculature, so that way So that way, like, it doesn't. I don't want these guys to look like bodybuilders, right? These guys are skinny dudes, so I don't want that, right? Yeah, so I think it was about 85 bucks USD to commission him. So pretty reasonable, honestly, compared to what everybody else is selling him for. It's pretty fair price. So, but yeah, so now I need to find someone to do one for me because I want to have my expressions to be good, and I also want to be able to get like multiple expressions, like smiling, shocked, that kind of shit, right? So Something Long says, I'm actually here because Collector Express did a shout out of you, another good customizer. Thanks, man. That's awesome. Yeah, Collector Express is awesome. He was my guest here last week on Wednesday. So yeah, big shout out to him. He's amazing. Good man. Marcus says, do you think there will be templates for his tattoos? I feel like of all people, Travis will, because Travis he's kind of known for his tattoos. So I feel like I should be able to find something, but I'm not a stickler for perfection, particularly with something like that. If I can get it to look impressive enough that it doesn't matter, then I'm there for it. So we'll see what happens. But I'm kind of like, I have clear water slide paper to print onto, so like whatever doesn't have like a white background, so it should work pretty well, I think. But like I said, I'm going to test it with mine. And the nice thing is for me is like I can shade my arm, take clear pictures of my tat, and then like flatten it out and print it, and so I'll get the chance to practice on mine first, right? So Moose Milk said, that's very interesting. You should make Tom half alien. Maybe I should make him an alien head. It's like a big alien head with like a Hurley hat on sideways or something. That'd be fun. Marcus says, gotcha. I was curious because I was wondering if I should get a custom head sculpt of some K-pop stars. The one I made is basic and not accurate at all. I would reach out to him. He does a lot of music stuff. He does a ton of band stuff. If you're interested and the price seems right to you. I mean, to be honest with you, when I originally started looking, he was one of the first people who reached out to me when I openly looked for people on Instagram to do the Hoppus head initially. He was one of the first ones, and like once I started getting quotes from other people, I was like, wow, this guy's priced very fairly. And to be, like I said, like as somebody who has worked with him now multiple times, he's very easy to work with. He's very open to criticism, which I like because I'm pretty particular. And his prices are so fair. So yeah, he comes recommended from me. His prints are high quality. The thing is, he doesn't like to send prints. He likes to send casts because they're better quality and they're more durable. So yeah, I recommend him for sure. That'd be great. Tom with an alien head coming at you, and Travis with a tattoo gun head. Okay, guys, we're 2 hours in, 2:06, and I think I'm going to call it a wrap. So thank you guys very much for being here. Thanks to all the new people who jumped in for the first time. Hopefully we'll see you guys back next week with this guy. It's going to be great. Mr. Moose Milk. My friend Ryan will be here next week. Ryan, are you doing Legos next week while we're doing this? Are you going to Lego build while we're doing this? So like I was saying earlier, me and Ryan are besties, and we've been good friends for a long time. It should make for an interesting conversation, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So yeah, so Ryan says he's building Legos on Wednesday. So if you want to get a glimpse into what you're heading into, join us Sunday night, this coming Sunday, over on Moose Milk Media on Instagram. We do a live stream every Saturday or Sunday. This week we are doing it Sunday. So pop over there, 10 p.m. Pacific time. I know it's a little late, but you can always check it on the replay too. Show them some love. And yeah, you kind of get a vague idea of what you're in for, because sometimes we go a little off the rails, and usually we're only about an hour, so we're going to have kind of more than double the time to do what we got to do. So it should be very, very fun. Looking forward to it. Oh, he's doing the Lego Batwing. So I will be customizing something. He will be building the Lego Batwing, and maybe he'll be showing a Batwing or two, if you know what I mean. Woo. Marcus E says, you're the best, dude. Thanks for all the helpful advice. Can't wait for next week. Thanks, Marcus. Appreciate you, as always, stopping by. Thanks to everybody who is regular here. Oh, sorry, I missed this. Collector Express. I also learned the hard way to spray my custom water slides with a clear coat. Yeah, I learned the hard way, too, on that one. But my friend warned me, so I don't know how I missed that. But yeah, I put it in and it just, like, disappeared. So thanks everybody, all the regulars. I really appreciate you guys. It's harder and harder to leave you every week. But yeah, next Wednesday should be a fucking gooder. So join us. Until then, take care, have a great week, and we'll see you then. Peace out.